She went inside and sat at the dining room table, head in hands. Well, why did she try? Why did she dream the life of a chef when she couldn't even afford to stock her own fridge? Her life sometimes just seems so thoroughly silly, tedious. She kind of felt this life claustrophobia come over her. Her existence, her children were boxed in a tunnel that might have light, as she hoped and prayed. If only she could crawl and lead her young blindly to the next turn in this plumbing nightmare her life had become. If only she could crawl quickly before someone, God, Mr. Jones, turned on the water, leaving her and the kids to drown. She felt pressure from all sides and gathered herself. She took another deep breath. Miss Jones resolved, I'm going to march right up those stairs. I'm going to ask Mr. Jones, politely, where the money has gone. She walked up the stairs to the bedroom and knocked on the bathroom door, timidly. She didn't hear any bathroom water and so asked, James, I need meat for the festival tomorrow, and there's nothing in our stash in your van. I told these children, our family, that you would provide for us. She paused. Don't prove me wrong. There, she'd said it. And Mr. Jones had nothing to say in response. No smart quip, no interruption, no hitting. She waited, tensing her body in case the door did swing open. She waited some more, and waited. She knocked again. James? She knocked again. James! She turned the knob and paused to give him time to collect himself. James? She opened the door fully and took the image in pieces, blood pooling, a leg in the air, Mr. Jones' balding head buried in his chest, arms spread outward. Her face froze. She took a step away. It looked like a pale, naked, hairy armadillo had wedged itself between the sink and the tub, with only minimal success and a bit of blood. She approached and touched his shoulder. James, she whispered. She tried to check his pulse like she'd seen in movies, but really it was a formality. Miss Jones had seen death on her family's farm before. Mr. Jones, he was most definitely dead. Miss Jones braced herself against the sink for good measure, but didn't feel squeamish. Instead, she was taken with an overwhelming sense of almost clarity. Funeral's expensive. Children will be devastated. Our son Jim's toy caused this. How will he feel when he finds out? What would the community think? James never had health insurance, no support for our family. We couldn't cover all this. This is a family matter. Who can I call about this? Miss Jones knew that no one could help her now. She'd have to take care of this, as with everything else, by herself. But how do I get this body down the stairs? James is too large for me to carry. She flinched. Miss Jones would have to divide in order to conquer. With determined precision, she went to Mr. Jones' van and took a clean apron and gloves. She made her way to the kitchen and gathered the set of knives, and immediately resented Mr. Jones for not having bought the professional set she requested 8 years ago on their 5th wedding anniversary. Once fully prepared, Miss Jones started with the arms. While cutting around the shoulder wasn't particularly difficult, separating the arm from the shoulder joint took some creative twisting and turning, which was no easy task in her tight workspace. Like Rachel Ray says, it's really important to prep the workspace before you begin. I only wish I had more space to work with. 2 hours later, Mr. Jones was successfully disassembled, and Miss Jones began to take the pieces downstairs. I can dig a hole, but I would hate for one of the kids to find this one day. As she stared at the heap of meat and limbs, it was quite astonishing just how much of Mr. Jones there still was. It almost seemed a waste and terrible inefficiency to dispose of them all. And Miss Jones began to grimace just a little. No, I'm not going to cook my husband. She sat down. She opened one of those beers that she always gives Mr. Jones in the fridge and took a sip, staring still at the heaping pile of flesh, meat, skin. No, it's not right to cook him. She sat a little longer and tried, for the first time in her life, some of that special drink that Mr. Jones kept in his boot flask. Well, it's not right to cook all of him. She resolved it would be entirely inappropriate to cook any part of Mr. Jones' face, or to include any heart or vital organs in some cooked dish. But this extra, the meat around the limbs, maybe from the ribs, the thighs, well, that was hardly different than any other meat. Miss Jones took another sip. and she began to work. The meat was fresh, healthy, though some fat was necessarily cut away, and a few choice trimmings were added for seasoning. But in a sense, using Mr. Jones would bring him some of the honor he never found while living. And hours later, Miss Jones had successfully converted Mr. Jones, within reason, into a very fine assortment of bite-sized cuts. The bones, the head, the rest, she wondered, while sipping more booze. How strong this booze is. Amazing it doesn't just burn a hole right through your throat, she thought to herself, still perplexed. And then it became obvious. James must keep some industrial cleaners for those hard-to-remove stains and messes. She found a mop bucket and just enough acid to reduce Mr. Jones into a clean set of pearly white bones in a few hours before dawn. Satisfied with the efficient evolution of her husband had undergone, Miss Jones neatly fit the bones into a plastic storage container beneath her bed and left the remaining Mr. Jones to simmer in the stew. She thought to herself, where would James go on a Sunday if he wanted to escape the festival? Miss Jones drove the van to a wooded shore on the lake, and after some searching, found that one of Mr. Jones' work boots wedged perfectly between the floorboard and the gas pedal. She sent the van and the remaining meat acid mop bucket mixture into the lake. Shortly after, she called her mother. "Mom." "Yes, daughter, what's such a bother at this early hour?" The lake. I'm at White Lake, and James isn't here." Wait, what?" "The lake. James took us to the lake so we could get away, spend some time together on the shore, sleeping with the stars. But now he's gone, our van too. It's like they just disappeared." Sometime after Mr. Jones and Miss Jones fell asleep on the shore, the police presumed, Mr. Jones must have gotten up, accidentally driven into the lake. As a large man known to have a few on occasion, it seemed very possible he may have made a mistake while driving so close to the shore that night. Miss Jones presumed he had tried to leave so that he might surprise her with donuts for breakfast. Still, no body was ever recovered. That same Sunday, Miss Jones' stew and baked goods were transported to the festival. "We're torn up not knowing where James is," Miss Jones had told her mother, "but it'd be a shame to not go ahead and send some of this food I cooked to the festival so it can do some good." There was so much stew, in fact, that Miss Jones and her family feasted for a few days on the leftovers. Jim, not often a fan of soup, particularly enjoyed this stew. Indeed, the stew that year was so popular at the festival, everyone asked for the recipe. Miss Jones told him she might be able to put it in a cookbook with other perennial classics, but a true chef couldn't reveal all her secrets. Miss Jones began a catering business that turned into a restaurant some years later. There was even talk from time to time of a local TV show. Though uncommon for a woman to run such an enterprise in a small southern town, the community rallied around poor Miss Jones. Without her husband, they had to help take care of her and her family. She keeps a bit of him in the freezer, and from time to time, when she's lonely or her family needs an extra special serving of soul food, she finds a way to work him back into the recipe. Of course, in the end, Father did provide.